And yes, if you haven't seen my latest vlog or follow me on Snapchat, this is my first round of ombreing. I like the way it looks so far. I knew it wasn't going to be blonde or one solid, well, some of the strands are blonde, but one solid color, because there's just been so much product put in my hair over the years that it just wasn't going to, but I kind of like the way it looks, so yes. So last year for Vlogoween or Vlogtober or whatever you want to call it, I did 2 different paranormal story times that were 100% authentic and true, and I will link them down below in case you missed them and you want to watch them. They are very creepy, very sad, and very amazing. So I did want to do another paranormal experience video. I am going to, however, put a trigger warning on this video before I get into it. If you are triggered by suicide or death or anything like that has to do with that, this might not be the video for you and you might want to click out. I'm not going to go into full detail of personal things that transpired before this because it's very disrespectful and it's too graphic, and I do not want to put that out on the internet. But this video does have to do with suicide, so I am going to post somewhere in this video the National Suicide Crisis Hotline, and I will also leave it linked down below as well. If you or someone you know has suicidal thoughts or tendencies or is in crisis of any kind of danger like that, there's always a hotline if you want to talk to somebody who will be unbiased. Suicide, unfortunately, is very, very sad, and everybody has their own opinions on it, and I take it very, very seriously, and I'm sure that all of you have at least known somebody or have known who knew somebody who has committed suicide, unfortunately. And so we're going to be talking about in this video the time that my would-have-been future mother-in-law came through and kind of spoke to me after she had passed away. So if you don't know this already, if you're new to my channel or you're just not up to speed, when I was 18 and 19, I was engaged to a man, a beautiful, beautiful man named Corey, and he was the absolute, my first love, absolute, like I would have done anything for him, and we did get engaged, and his parents' names were Don and Bonnie. See, I'm already, I don't know if, like, I don't want to make this like, give me a second. Bonnie was a very, very sweet woman, somebody that I definitely talked to personally, and you know, she, you know, asked advice with, and I was very, very close to her. I was close to Don too, but very much to Bonnie. And I'm not going to go into too much, like I said, too much detail, but Corey was an only child. Bonnie and Don did not think they were going to be able to conceive a child because they had tried and had multiple failures, but Corey was their beautiful, magical, and miracle child that did survive. He was a mama's boy, 100% mama's boy. He took care of her, she, you know, latched onto him, and it was very, very adorable and very, very sweet to see. And if you don't know, by now, I guess, Corey did pass away, and I will also link that video down below as well if you want to know the story about what happened there. Basically, he had epilepsy, and I'm the one who found his body hours after he passed away. Very, very traumatic, but more so traumatic, I would believe, for his parents. So basically, his parents were out in the tropics on vacation when their son passed away. I had to call them and tell them what had happened, and they were on the next flight out. And why is this so hard for me? For like 5 months or so, me and Bonnie stayed in touch, and well, me and Don also stayed in touch. You know, she was calling me pretty much almost every single day, and we would talk. And, you know, she would tell me like a month after his passing that I should move on. And, you know, I do not, and I always say this, because I have had friends who have had friends and family members who have passed away. I do not judge people on how they mourn, as long as they're not hurting themselves or others. I am in no position to tell you how to mourn and how long you need to mourn for. I think everybody personally is different, and I think this was her way of mourning, was kind of just like saying, we got to move on. You know, that's what he would have wanted. We have to move on. I could tell in her voice every single time that we spoke on the phone that she was not well. And I knew she wasn't going to be well. Her only child, who was only 24, had just passed away. And she wasn't, you know, there for when it happened. So there was a lot of guilt felt on both of his parents' they both felt at fault a little bit there. I'm sure there's a little bit of guilt that was there. So 5 months and 2 days later, it was the day after I started dating my best friend, who is now my best friend, Josh. We are no longer dating, we're just best friends. And I was hanging out with a mutual friend who actually I knew with Corey. They were friends as well, and her name was Michelle. And we were hanging out at her house, and I got a phone call from Dawn saying that Bonnie had committed suicide. And I didn't know really what to say, because the last conversation I had with her, and she even had a conversation with my mother, we had made plans to go out for dinner or lunch or brunch or something. And, you know, she, you know, I still have the last voicemail from her, and if I can, I will include it in this video. I'll never get rid of that last message, just like I have Corey's last voicemail to me. But I was kind of in shock, and I told Michelle, and I asked her to please right away drive me over to Corey's house. I'm not going to go into detail of how she committed suicide and what had happened and transpired during that. Let's just say it was in a very brutal way, in not a very clean way, I guess. And Dawn did find her body the morning after. They both shared a bedroom, but there was a spare bedroom that Bonnie used as an office, but it also had a bed, like a full-size bed, and sometimes she slept in there after she was done with the computer and everything and done with like her office work. So she stayed in that room, and that's where Dawn found her. Obviously, I run over with a whole bunch of other people to Dawn's house and, you know, try to console him and be there as much as we can. It was a, what would they call it? A private, I guess, funeral. Only family members were allowed to come, which was totally fine with me. I had no problem with it. But this was really, really hard on me, because I loved her very much, and she was like the only part of Corey besides Dawn that I had left. Nothing to do with this story, but a year later, Dawn did also commit suicide. So a week after Bonnie passed away, me and Josh planned to go to the movies to see the movie Quarantine. Great movie. Definitely loved it. It was actually the last movie I've ever seen in theaters. I don't like movie theaters. But, so we were coming into the movie theater, and there was, you know, like that trivia stuff, like they'll play before they play the, coming attractions and stuff. And Josh went to go to use the restroom, and I was just sitting in the chair, and I was looking at, you know, the movie screen, and I felt my cell phone vibrating. So I pick it up, and of course I put it on vibrate because I'm in a movie theater, and it says Bonnie's cell. And I kind of froze just looking at it for a second, and right before it would have hung up, I picked it up, I said hello like 3 times, and maybe like 10 to 15 seconds afterwards, I'm not going to use my real first name, but it was almost like hearing somebody talk through a radio, and all I heard was very faintly, Blaize? Like a question, like if, did I get the right number kind of thing? And it sounded like it was through a radio. And then I was like, Bonnie? And she just said Blaize one more time, and it hung up completely. I was shaking and I did not know what to do. So I redialed and called her back, and it said, went to one of those voice recordings that says the number that you have dialed has been disconnected. And I was like, so immediately I called Don and I said, Don, I just got a call from Bonnie's cell phone. I think maybe somebody, you know, accidentally hit her number. He's like, no, we got rid of her number and her phone like a couple days ago. That number's not, it's not available. And I didn't know what to say. I was like, oh, okay, then it must be my mistake, because I didn't want to tell him that his dead wife just came through and said my name. So that's pretty much the end of this story. I know it wasn't a long, detailed story. I'm sorry about that, but it's the only other real paranormal, like, realness that I've had in my life. And it was, even though it was very scary, and I was very scared when I heard this and like freaking out, I told Josh, I was like, I just got a call from Bonnie, and he was like, isn't she the one who just died? And I'm like, yeah, that's why I'm telling you this in a very weird way. I would say I hope you guys enjoyed this video, but I also just want to not say that because who enjoys hearing about somebody committing suicide because their only child had passed away? It's a very, very sad story, but it's also a story that I wanted to keep around for spooky season to try to make it a little bit more lighthearted, like, ooh, I got a call from a dead person. But even though it is for spooky season and like ghosts are involved and stuff like that, it is still a very sensitive topic to me. Even now, thinking about Bonnie and Don and of course Corey all of the time, it is very emotional for me. Stop it. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You can leave comments and stuff down below. First, please do not ask any further questions about this because I will not give out any more detail than I have. I'm sorry, but it would not feel right. And please don't leave any negative comments because you will be blocked and you will be reported. And another thing, you can say your condolences, but I am not in any way doing this video for pity or sympathy on my end. You know, no, not at all. It's been over 9 years since this happened. I am still dealing with it to this day, but every day I try to get a little bit better from this. And even though it's still emotional for me, I'm not, like I said, doing this video to get sympathy or anything like that. If anything, the sympathy should go towards Don and Bonnie, who lost their miracle child, and in a very sudden way. So if you guys would like, please go down and hit that subscribe button and subscribe right now, because I always have at least one free monthly beauty giveaway, 100% free, not sponsored, no catch, goes from my pocket and gives directly to you. As soon as we hit 900, I will be doing a special giveaway for that as well. We are so close to 900, which is insane. So I hope you guys are having a good October. What movies have you guys been enjoying for 31 Days of Horror this year? Please leave that down in the comments. I want to know what your movies you're watching, which one was your favorite so far. Maybe if you can recommend some movies to me, I'd love to hear that. Let's get things a little bit happier. I'm now going to go film a what's in my patent leather guest purse video, so let's try to get spirits a little bit lifted. So until next time, guys, stay wicked.
Hey, Kaylee, it's Bonnie. I just called to see how you're doing. Nothing important. I guess we'll talk to you again soon. Okay, bye.
How come every time you come around my London Bridge wanna go down like London, wanna go down